Okay, so what does the future hold for you all? How many of you have experimented with AI tools or heard about it?
I love it.
You love it?
Like
Okay. ChatGPT. This is the future.
Yes.
And it's kind of scary, I think, and it's also really exciting.
Yeah.
In my company, I work with startup companies, and we're being encouraged to experiment with ChatGPT. But I typed in the prompt, I said, give me an image of young Uzbekistani leaders in the future. And this is what it came up with. All right, it's pretty interesting, right? What does the future hold? But, and it's hard to see the future sometimes, right? You have an idea maybe of what you would like to do, like you're interested in science, you're very passionate about that.
So everybody has their certain ideas about future.
Yeah.
So, for example, Elon Musk always say that AI is dangerous, but I think every tool has advantages and disadvantages. And maybe we will live in a life that everybody likes playing video games or something, simulations, but it will be great, and therefore people would like to how to say, encourage people. There will be people who would love to don't use AI and how to say act like themselves.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about that? You said you use ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is a very useful tool.
Yeah.
It helped me to do my home tasks like my teachers give me.
What does your teacher think of that?
Yeah, my teacher recommended me to use this tool. It's really helpful, I think.
Look, we're a Silicon Valley-based startup accelerator. This is new to us. So the future, I think, is very exciting, but also very uncertain. This is another prompt that I added in that said, describe an image of Uzbekistani young people who are helping solve some of the world's biggest problems. And this is what it came up with. I like the image. The one thing I don't like is the guy is here and the girls are around him, but I don't know. It's interesting of why that came up with this. But when you think about the next steps to university or in your career about what you would like to do, maybe you have an idea of this. It's sort of, you enter a company or an organization and you get promoted and you move up and up, and it's very exciting. Guys, the reality is more like this, where you're here, you're a student, you're like, I've got these great ideas, but then it gets messy. And there's a lot of challenges about, okay, well, how do I create a resume, or do I select the right major, or what happens if I lose my job, or what if the AI robots take over the world and we can't be writers anymore, right? And then you come back to this, where you end up making a lot of successes, and then you go to this again. It's very, very messy, right? I would like to share a concept with you today. It's a Japanese concept. It's called ikigai. And what it means is a reason for being. And when you start out as high school students or university students, you think about, what do you love to do? Right? I'm passionate about whatever. Start calling things out. What do you love to do?
I love to create.
You love creating. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
You're into art, music.
Yeah.
What else? What do you love to do?
Reading.
Reading? Okay. And then over time, as you get more education, you start to think about, I know what I'm good at, because you begin to enter a job market or you do your university studies and you get to realize, like, I'm really good at math. I'm really good at sort of understanding robotics, or I'm really good at
Communication, maybe.
I'm sorry?
Communication.
Communication, right? I really like communicating with people, okay? But then when you're done with university study, you start to think, okay, I love reading books about 18th century English literature, but how am I going to get paid to do this? That's a big challenge, right? Or you might stop and say, you start here and you say, I'm going to be an accountant because I know I can get a job right away to be an accountant, but you may not love being an accountant. It's hard to love numbers sometimes, unless if you really just want to crunch numbers at a company all day. And then there's this, and this is what I'm really focusing on in my life right now, in my career. It's what does the world need? Okay, I know what I love to do. I know what I can be paid for, which is helping companies develop, doing a lot of research to kind of understand the economic climate and the business market and all of this. That's what I really like to do, what I'm good at. I can get paid to do. But what does the world need? And I always come back to this image of what does that future look like, where you can start to see how can we help build an energy system that's sustainable, or how can we make sure that species are not being eradicated and that we can support, say, new water technologies, right? So I think the future ends up being a lot of this is kind of exploring what does the world need? And you may want to think about that as you're in high school and starting to go to the university. What does the world really need? Okay, does anybody know what this is? Or what maybe language it is? What? Close.
Greek.
Greek. Ancient Greek. There's a philosopher, I think it was Socrates, who said, know thyself. It means know your limitations as well. Like if you know that you would not be a good doctor or an engineer, then that's probably not who you are. But know thyself, okay? So let's do a little bit of exercise. I want you all to work in groups, maybe two. We're going to do a little bit of discussion here. Talk about these questions. You can do it in Uzbek, Russian, English, doesn't matter. But think about this question. What's your superpower? Okay. I'm going to pick on you later. I'm going to pick on you later then. My new company, I've been working for them for about a year, and they asked me this question, what's your superpower? And I did not know the answer. So I actually had to prepare to try to get the answer to this because I never asked myself that. No one ever asked me, what's your superpower? What kinds of problems do you want to solve in your career? Maybe at university, maybe right now in high school as you're finishing up your final years. What kinds of problems do you want to solve? I think this is really important. What gives you inspiration and energy? What makes you get up in the morning to continue your studies, to work hard? But what are also some things that you really see yourself not doing at all? That's equally as important. Okay? What kind of organizations do you want to work for? You may not know the answer to that now. It's part of the job experience, right? When you're young in your career, and you'll maybe find out there's no way that I can work in an office building. It's too small, there's not enough interaction with people. Maybe you want to start your own company. And usually the people who, they cannot work for another organization, they just cannot work for anybody, they can't work for a boss, they end up being their own boss and starting their own company. Okay. So have a discussion. We'll do maybe 5 or 10 minutes and ask yourselves these questions in groups. Go ahead. Each other. What were some really interesting or cool things that you can talk about with people that you met? What? Go ahead.
So she's outgoing.
And you've never met before.
Yeah. She's outgoing and to tell about her career, about her superpowers, and like we are the same, our characters. We're
Okay.
outgoing.
What's your superpower?
My superpower, I speak a lot.
Okay.
So I'm outgoing, and what else? About her superpowers, she said that she can just learn information quickly, and search information.
Okay. That is a superpower.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's something I'd like to hear in an elevator pitch if I was talking to maybe a boss at a company or a job opportunity or someone at a university. Okay. I heard someone over here talking about starting your own company. Did anybody comment about that? Or I should say, who here is interested in starting his or her own company? Quite a lot of you. All right. Yeah? What do you think? Yeah.
Let's say if I had a chance, I would have started my own book company,
Okay.
and there I would create some, not create, I would recreate some old and books that aren't interested now.
Okay.
For people.
Out of print books, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to open my book company.
All right. What are some other cool things that you heard from your friends here?
They are interested in SpaceX or
In
something.
SpaceX?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
And they are good at leadership.
Okay.
So it's cool. It's pretty cool that someone can share their ideas about their future goals.
Right.
It's great.
How many of you struggled with some of these questions? I'll be honest. Like I told you, I didn't know what my superpower was. I never asked myself that question. But what were some hard questions?
Maybe start question.
What's that?
Start one question. What gives you from inspiration?
Okay.
Motivation?
Yeah, what was hard about that?
I couldn't. I didn't able to answer this question.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes that happens when you get more experience with university or a job where you start to work for different organizations or you're working on some projects, and it's until then you really know what your inspiration and energy levels are. Yeah.
Because right now we are studying most of us studying exact universities.
Yeah.
Get jobs.
First question is a little hard too.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah.
Choose your future. It's kind of bound to you with company or bind you.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot do what you want to do in how to say, in the office or organizations. It kind of limits you. So
Yeah, especially if you start to discover that you want to start your own company and you have a structure of an organization. Sometimes it's really hard because you want to be entrepreneurial. There's a word for that actually. It's called intrapreneurship. It's someone who brings new ideas and innovation within an organization, and then they have to deal with the larger company to bring new ideas out. But that's an idea. That's a concept in companies. Yeah.
I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
What is your superpower and what gives you inspiration?
My superpower, I learned, is bringing structure and architecture to very chaotic, complex environments. That's my superpower. I've worked my whole career in international business, which is very complicated. and sometimes it gets, it's very difficult to understand who's who, what they do, different cultural dynamics, right? So I get, organizations and companies hire me because I can build out that structure. I think that's my superpower, and I think my colleagues would agree with that. And what was the other one?
What gives you inspiration
And
Yeah.
to get up in the morning?
I love, let's say, I'm very curious. I love, I would say curiosity is one of my key skills, and that I love starting projects knowing nothing and then trying to be an expert. Even though I will never be an expert at it, I really love trying to just being the expert at something. That's what makes me feel good. That's what gives me inspiration. And I love it when my colleagues say, oh, talk to Adrian, he's the expert at this idea. That makes me feel really good. Yeah. What gives me energy? I am a morning person. I love getting up super early in the morning, and I work in the morning, and then about 3 p.m. my brain shuts off, I'm done. How many of you are night owls? You're a night owl? Okay. Yeah, I don't know how you people work or operate. It's just, you're at 2 in the morning in front of the computer, and I'm asleep, forget about it. Okay, anything else? What were some other interesting conversations, tough questions?
For me, just have a question. Like, what kind of problems I would like to solve?
Yeah.
Like, really difficult to answer.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, like, people, like, if they work in the office, they do the job that they must do, and that's it. Like, they are not really solving the problem for the society. So, this was really difficult for me to answer.
This is a process. It's a work in process. It's a work in progress. So you may find yourself in your early career or late in your career, maybe sort of here. You get paid, you're good at it, you work in an office, 5 p.m., you go home, doesn't really solve the world. But maybe the older you get, when you start to get gray hair like me, you start to think about, okay, what else can I do to solve the world's problems or start to address that? So this is just it's a work in progress. You may not know right away. Some of you may want to start here and just be like, we need more doctors, or we need to help the animals, or this. Like, you could start here. Some of you may not know, and that's fine. Okay, what else?
Interesting.
All right, last thing. We talked about elevator pitch, and we're going to do this now. This is how you would design an elevator pitch, and you can do this as practice. Maybe we'll try this out a little bit. All of you are high school students. I'll be speaking tonight to a group of interns. But think about maybe your role that you would like to see yourself in, if you're interested in science, for example, or you're interested in finance. Say your goals for the near future. This is what I would really like to become. These are sort of my wishes. Talk about your superpower. So like, I'm really good at crunching numbers, or I'm really good at communication. And then problems that you want to solve. And the reason why is that companies hire people because they want them to solve their problems, right? You get paid because you're solving a problem. In combination with you being really good at something and you being very, being interested in it, right? So get back into your groups. We'll do maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll try to craft out an elevator pitch and see how you do. All right? I'm making you guys work today. I'm gonna invite you. Yeah, you said you were good at public speaking, so do it. All right, so we're in an elevator. Come up here. This is workshop, guys. All right. So pretend that I am a boss at a company and you want to make a good impression on me. So press the button. All right.
At first, before we start this conversation, I would like to say that I am good at public speaking in my native languages,
Okay.
Uzbek and Russian, but also English is my third language, so I can.
No worries. No worries. Go ahead. This is a safe environment. It's totally fine.
Mister,
Hi.
I'm inspired young man who would like to study in the big college, in the big universities, to get big knowledges about my field. My field is my major is finance.
Okay.
Related to finance, I'm also interested in diplomacy. Diplomacy, and communication skills like public speaking or get to know people. With my experience with communication skills, I can provide. I can come on stage. I can perform on stage to provide.
Okay.
Perform big problems in our society. Yes.
All right.
And after saying these problems, I can provide them the better solving these problems. Yes.
Okay. Well, look, elevator doors open, but you know what? We're actually looking to find someone who can organize events. Would you be interested?
Yes, I'm really
Great.
interested
Okay.
in
All right. Let's stay in contact. All right. See ya.
Thank you.
All right. No, but that's the one thing I forgot. Yeah. Thank you. That's the one thing I forgot is have a final word, which is like, how do you end that conversation? Might be a business card, or you connect on LinkedIn or something like that, which is a popular business platform. Yeah, great job. Who else wants to try? Practice. I know, a little bit tough. Go ahead. You can stand there if you don't feel comfortable, but if you want to come up, go ahead.
No, I'm quite comfortable.
Okay, great. All right, press that button on that elevator.
Hello, Mr. Adrian.
Oh, hi.
It seems like we have a common ground of interest because now I'm studying business management faculty,
Oh, okay.
and I'm really interested in working at the marketing department.
All right.
And with the skills given, adaptability and learning really new things really quickly, I think that I could make something for your company.
Do you know anything about TikTok?
Of course.
Okay, I have no idea how that works. Maybe we could hire somebody like you who understands TikTok because, like, I don't understand it. I'm way too busy. Okay. Well.
Oh, this is my card.
Oh.
Help me. If you
Okay,
help.
great. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, all right. But yeah. Any questions there? Were some of these questions difficult to answer? I know some of you said problems you want to solve in your career. You may not really know that yet, but what did you think?
How to end the conversation? I wanted to know how
to start it.
Give my
How
number
to
or
start and how to.
Yeah. Well, look, it's not an elevator. An elevator is a bit of a meme, let's say. What it's really useful is at, say, a conference. And I've seen this happen with people that they meet someone and they start talking about their technology. And the person just goes, okay, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know how this connects with me. And so the conversation just ends very poorly. No, how it can end is usually like, all right, let's stay connected. Or, do you know of any other events that are happening right now that maybe we could go to, or, we could meet up for coffee or something like that, right? So in a natural environment, you can have more normal types of social interaction. This is just an exercise, simulation. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. We have maybe 15 more minutes. We can just open this up for questions. Anything you want to talk about, or anything about career or jobs or personal interests, or any questions about the USA? It's totally open. Yeah.